another edition of Off Limits. Hello everyone, another episode of Off Limits. And this time our guest is this viral young woman, Devsurabhee Yaduvanshi. Now, you all have seen the video. It's circulating all over, but no one knows who this lady is, where she comes from. Well, we do know that she came from Goa because she said that in the video. But short of that, who is this person who has this courage and the honesty to speak out in the manner that she did in her video? So we have her with us. And Devsurabhee, should I call you with a full name or do you have a shorter name that people use?
You can call me Dev.
Okay. So welcome, and I'm so happy that we found you and we have connected. Tell me, now that, before asking a question, let me introduce you a little bit. So she has spent most of her life in Goa. She's been all over. Her father is a retired Indian Administrative Service officer. She has done and she herself is highly qualified. She's done her MSc International Business Management from Edinburgh. She has done her BA Public Administration in Tamil Nadu, Annamalai University. She's got her O and A levels from Cambridge, UK, CIE, whatever that means. She's proficient in Urdu, in Hindi, in Konkani, and in French. I mean, she's taught French. So she is a very versatile young woman. She has worked in a whole bunch of corporates as well. And now she's given everything up and joined politics. So what makes you tick, Dev? What are you all about? Why have you had this very amazing trajectory? And now that you moved to politics, why?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me with you and giving me this opportunity. What makes me tick? So I've always been interested in politics from when I was a child, but never in my wildest dreams had I ever imagined that I would actually join politics. So for this, I would say thank you to BJP and Narendra Modi that they have destroyed the country to such a level that they've broken down the independence of our institutions so much and the social fabric of our country, our economy, that this sort of destruction that I was seeing around me, even as a professional, as a business owner, I just couldn't keep quiet anymore. And I started understanding that the more people keep quiet, especially that I was keeping quiet, I was actually siding with the people who were doing this. And since I'm a very firm believer in our constitution, I've studied it in public administration in detail, along with the constitutions of different countries across the world.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah,
I
so
want to know,
Yeah,
when you thought, I'm going to stop you here and then go back again. When you said that I'm interested in politics, I've always been interested. Do you have a political background? Do you have people in your family who were in politics? How did you develop this? Because this is not something which young people of your generation particularly actually get into at such an early stage.
So nobody from my family is actually into politics. I'm a first generation politician that way, but I am a fourth generation Congressee. So like Rajiv Gandhi ji came for my parents' wedding. So that ways we have had our connection with Congress, and I don't know, because my father was in the IAS. I was exposed to politics also from a very young age. I got to see behind the curtain quite a bit. And then because I did my public administration, I used to sit down and watch sessions of parliament. I would look at the speeches, what is being debated. So all of that became a natural interest for me. Nobody told me that this is what you should do, but I always felt it was my bound duty as a citizen to be politically aware of what's happening in the country. And eventually it led to me speaking up.
Right.
So
what
that's how the
happened
journey
on that particular day? Let's get to brass tacks. on that particular day when you recorded that video, it was obviously a very spontaneous video, which is why it's gone viral, because people are able to gauge. It is amazing how tuned in and how aware people are about the honesty of what they see. What happened that morning or evening? What was the trigger that you just decided, okay, this is it?
So, that speech by Narendra Modi on Sunday in Rajasthan, um, all of us heard it, of course. And I started burning inside. Like, I just could not bear it that the Prime Minister of India, the highest public office in the country, in the largest democracy of the world, someone of that stature can make such an inhumane, unconstitutional statement in a rally. It just was unacceptable for me. And actually, after Sunday, Monday passed, Tuesday passed, Wednesday. By the time Wednesday came around, I was like, I cannot keep quiet about this anymore. And to be very frank, I did not script it, nothing. I was just like, I just said, Upar wale, like, dekh lena, just speak through me. I am really, really bothered about this. And that's how I started recording. And that's how the video came about. And I posted it, and never in my wildest of imaginations had I thought that it would go as viral as it did. Because in political struggles, I keep thinking like, are really people feeling the pain of it, or are we just going about saying and it's falling on deaf ears? But I was so heartened to see the response from people.
But have
Amazing.
you,
Yes.
on the converse side, this time, and I'll go to the past later, but where this video is concerned, you've got this overwhelming applause, but you also got hate and trolling, or has that been quieter this time?
Um, at this time, actually, the trolling is quite less than what I have already gone through. I received a death threat from RSS in 2022.
Why?
I've been because I made a video again that went viral in Goa. Okay, basically, I was telling the chief minister of Goa, Pramod Sawant, that the words and the statements that he uttered were unconstitutional. So somebody from the RSS called me up and told me that what you're speaking is against Hindus and you will be killed for it. So that happened. I took them to the police, lodged a complaint. No surprises, police action was not taken. But at least the person was supposed to give a written undertaking that they would not contact me again. I've also been publicly disrobed by the police in Goa for protesting against, the horrible statements by the CM against two minors who were raped. And he victim shamed them and said that the reason they got raped is their mistake. So, uh, and of course,
So what happened?
the general person.
So what happened with you? You took this up, and then what did the police do?
They did nothing, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the expectation of any, grievance redressal from the authorities is absolutely a no-go. So, yeah, this is the sort of persecution I think all opposition political activists, workers go through on a regular basis. Mine is not an extraordinary story, even in that measure. So, yeah.
But when you say 22 was when you were trolled and when you actually got a death threat, were you scared? Were you worried? Did you get support from your family? Did you get support from your friends? Forget the police and the government, you've already told us about that. Or from the party that you are now with?
So I've been with the Congress since 2020, so almost 4 years now. And so, yes, I did get support from the party. My friends, of course, people across Goa who know me very well, they were all like, we'll come there. How are you? Things like that. So I had immense amount of support. Um, but yeah, I mean,
But your father was serving in government at that time. Was that a problem for him?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know.
So yeah,
But
it's
you didn't
heartening.
feel, let's say, you didn't feel even then isolated, as if you're just this loner who nobody is really looking after. You felt protected, right? In 2022.
I did feel protected, but again, as any person in the opposition would tell you, it's a sentiment that we go through quite a bit. It's that uh, we've always had a sense that people are not listening to what we're saying. It's like the brainwashing has been so immense and totalitarian in nature that you get that feeling that you are one of the very few, I guess, crazy people who are speaking against the regime, and people don't believe you.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so but I would say over time, as I've gone along, especially after this video, uh, that perception of mine has also changed, because I do believe that people बोलते हैं ना, पेट पे जब लात पड़ती है तो
Yeah.
लोग जाग ही जाते हैं. तो
Yeah.
अब now it's very visible. People are really realizing what's happening.
So Goa is not that political, right, Dave? I mean, people your age, do you find them fairly political? I can understand them as friends supporting you, or the political party where they're members who are supporting you. But by and large, you must be sort of standing out as one of the few people who takes up issues and highly political issues, not environment issues, which are really what concerns Goans, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I do still feel that the people from my generation, I'm 32 years old, and even younger than me, they are not that politically involved or even aware to begin with, and that I feel is a travesty in its own right. And so yes, I when I am very, I'm charged up, I speak about politics a lot. Even when I meet people my age and things like that, people just sort of tune off, and
Yeah.
that still bothers me. That it's about your present and future that we're talking about, because for politics is all pervasive. It literally penetrates everything, every aspect of your life, and that's something that my generation and people younger than me are still not understanding.
Right. And though you're a member of the Congress and you're working with the Congress, I'm sure you must have many question marks about the Congress functioning. I'm not going into details because that's not the objective of this conversation. But, or are you sort of blindfolded and said, well, it's okay, the Congress is fine?
No, absolutely. I'm a realist in that sense, that I do understand the drawbacks of the party that I support. And I wholly believe in the ideology of Congress. There's no two doubts about it, because it's completely in line with the Indian Constitution. But very chronically aware of the problems within the party.
Good.
And these are areas certainly that need to be worked on, especially the outreach to the people. That's something that I've noticed over time, that the effort that sort of goes into reaching out to people, that's not really at par.
So when you spoke, when you recorded your interview, your video, you've used pretty harsh words and very strong words. Did you have second thoughts about them at any point? Maybe when you released it, or before, or after, or is it exactly how you wanted to say it?
I had no doubts about it. It was exactly as I felt, and I'm happy. People are saying that it's very courageous of me to say. I did not feel that it was courageous of me. It's just, for me, it's the truth. It's my observation. It's my feeling, and I stand with it 100%.
Yeah. So now what do you plan to do there? I mean, in the sense now you're a figure, you're a face. Soon everybody's going to find you. There'll be a spate of interviews for a while. There'll be a little bit of controversy around it. It'll all be generated as we go along. I can see that it's sort of playing out. But are you planning? You obviously don't regret having joined politics. So how do
No.
you see the role? Because you are right now more as an activist politician, right? Or,
Yes.
so now you have to do maybe more formal work. How are you going to work it out for yourself now?
So I have been an office bearer with the Congress twice before. I have been a state chairperson for the Unorganized Workers Congress. I've also been part of the Youth Congress. So I don't know what the future holds actually, but I have started a civic society movement in Goa called Wake Up Goa, Uthat Goinkarano.
Yeah.
So for the past 3-4 months, we've been focusing entirely on getting voter registrations, voter verifications done, so that every person gets the avenue to vote in this election. Um, I see myself as voter. I am politically active. Wherever I'm needed, I will go there. I've managed campaigns. I was leading the digital campaign team in Himachal for Congress. So I have done campaigns like that. And so going forward, I hope I have the opportunity to really make a difference through my own professional skills and also the political knowledge that I come from.
So were you able to say all that you wanted to in the video? Is there something more that you wish you had said, which you can mention?
Mm, I think by itself it was complete, but I did want to address the 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 rampant unemployment amongst our youth. That's something that I really want to raise awareness about because according to figures, first of all, this government doesn't carry out research, does not release statistical figures and everything. So we have to, depend on other sources for this information. But ILO has spoken about it, and India is looking at 65.7% unemployment rate amongst the youth, and they amount to 83% of the total number of people unemployed. That is not a joke. It's not a small figure at all. And what really bothers me is that I see a lot of the young people getting into drug usage, into alcoholism, uh, because they don't have an avenue of getting gainful employment or even a direction in their life. So they're just studying and passing out, but they don't have any way of building a life out of it. So I think that is another very, very big travesty that has happened under this regime, um, and it should get the sort of attention that it needs because we are talking about our workforce, we are talking about our present and future, and that's what's at stake. And our country will, what they keep speaking about, Vishwaguru, Vishwaguru. We've still sort of we had already reached the top three countries in 2011 itself. Whatever we are, despite their mismanagement, is because of the Congress management and Dr. Manmohan Singh and the genius, economic genius that he is. But how long will we survive on that grace? You know,
Absolutely.
especially when they are undoing everything that has been done. How long is that grace period going to last? So this is something that I really want people to think about. It's your children, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please don't play with their lives.
The children and the future of the country, right?
Yes.
So, while you were talking, I was thinking of the other issue, which has come out, of course, in your video, is about the issue of secularism. Now, you find that secularism, sometimes when you scratch people, you find they're not that secular. And I don't mean Hindus, I mean everybody, I mean Muslims, Christians, others. There is this little bit inside. So if you sort of poke a little bit more, then the response is not going to be completely secular. Uh, how did you get into that space? I know I feel I'm secular. I'm called a secular fundamentalist by my friends. But I feel that has a lot to do with my upbringing, how I was brought up, how we were told everybody is equal. It was sort of dinned into you, plus your education. Would you have the similar trajectory, or did you have to work on it later?
Um, uh, so actually, very surprisingly, since I grew up in Goa, I was surrounded by. So there is the secularism that is in India, which you talk about, which I think is uh, mostly skin deep, as Dr. Parakala Prabhakar calls it. He's a great friend of mine.
Okay.
Uh, Secularism in Goa has an entirely different nature. So it's literally on steroids. So I grew up with
That's so true.
extremely close knit culture with all religions. So there's my upbringing. I from a very young age was given the diksha of Isha Upanishad. Somewhere the teachings of Isha Upanishad were like completely they became a part of my being, and it speaks about the oneness of people. So that humaneness, that humanity, that understanding that we all are fundamentally one, when we come from one source. That's something that has been very that's been the that's what has given direction to my life. And despite I've seen a lot of Hindus talking a lot of crap about the minorities around me, it was mostly uh, it would mostly be that I would shut them up, that please don't say such things around me. I don't appreciate it. If you want to speak about it, speak when I'm not there, but I will not tolerate it. So yeah, that has been my journey. And the Constitution, when I first read the Constitution, I just saw it aligning with my my beliefs in one humanity, in one universe, and all of this being one. And it's so beautiful, a constitution.
It
So
is
it was
amazing.
but natural.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And finally, do you feel, you come through to me, not just in your video, but in this little conversation we've had, as a very idealistic a woman who is very honest in her beliefs and committed. Is there place in the world today or in the world of politics which you have chosen? Do you think, or do you think you will be able to carve that space? Or neither?
um to be very frank with you, I have always, yes, had thoughts about it, that is there any space for this sort of politics where you're truthful and you're authentic, you're very dedicated to the ideology. Um, and I used to feel that I before actually the Bharat Jodo Yatra, I used to feel that I was fighting a losing fight
Yeah.
because I just felt that nobody has any respect for it, aside from a few people that believe in you. Um, but Rahul Gandhiji's yatra, both the yatras actually, um, they changed everything for me. It gave me so much hope. It gave me so much hope because I see Rahul Gandhiji also as an outlier in Indian politics. He's authentic. He's himself, and he doesn't. He's connected to the people. He goes and he's very spontaneous and things like that. So I he's my idol. I really look up to him. I look up to Priyanka Gandhiji, and uh, so yeah. Now I don't feel uh, uh, hatash feel nahi karti, because I see that there is a space for it building in our Indian politics where actually people are fed up of the manipulations, the lies, and they truly want to have leaders that they can believe in with their hearts. And that's what I see going forward.
So great. It's been great talking to you. Now, please stay on the steroids that Goa has fed you. Don't change, remain yourself. And I think you're going to make a difference. Thanks so much for giving me this time so quickly. And I'm going to see more of you, I'm sure.